Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Erin at Listing Mirror. We're really excited to have you today. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get started at about 5 after, so another 3 minutes just to give a little bit of extra time for people to come in. Please take a look at the slides and make sure that you notice the different announcements that we have here. If you do have any questions, you can already start putting them into the questions section within GoToWebinar. Hopefully you're able to find that. We will have a Q&A at the end of our presentation today. We're really excited to get started, and you'll hear from us in just a moment. If you're just coming in, welcome. We're really excited to have you here today as we co-host this webinar with Wish. We will get started in just a moment. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so as I said, my name is Erin, and we are co-hosting a webinar with Wish today. We're so excited to have Tanai join us from the Wish team. Hopefully you'll get to hear a little bit about him in our introduction here as we get started. We're really excited to go through how to use the Wish integration with Listing Mirror, but also really for you to understand what makes Wish unique and what kind of products sell well on Wish. Really answer any questions that you have that might encourage you to go from someone who's looking at Wish as a channel to sell on to someone who is using Wish and selling well on that platform. So we're really thrilled to be able to offer this content to you guys today. As we are getting started here, just a couple notes. First of all, if you do have any questions about selling on Wish that you think would be especially helpful for Tanai to answer, please post those questions in the Q&A, or I'm sorry, please post your questions in the questions section within GoToWebinar, and we will make sure to go through those at the end. So any questions that you have about onboarding or about Wish specifically, or anything that you've heard that you might be curious to get more information about, those are great questions to ask, in addition to how to use the Listing Mirror integration with Wish. So we will get started here, and as soon as you're ready, Tanai, you let me
Great.
know.
Yeah. Thanks, Aaron. Tanai Kamat here from Wish. I serve as partnerships lead and have and I'm very excited to be working with Listing Mirror and announcing this partnership to bring their great merchants into Wish. So thank you for this opportunity, Aaron and team. Question, Aaron, is the full screen showing or is it cut off?
I have it showing part of the screen.
Oh.
Like it just looks a little bit zoomed in.
Okay.
Let me take a look.
Yeah. Maybe I'll forward a slide or two to see if everything's getting cut off. Yeah. Looks like it's getting a little cut off.
Yeah, a little bit cut off. I agree. I don't know, maybe it's zoomed strange or something.
I can go ahead and present on my end tonight if you just want to tell me when to switch slides, and we can do it that way.
Yeah, that'd be great. And apologies for that.
No problem. Okay, so everybody should see my screen. Does it look okay on your guys' end?
Yep, I can see it well. Thanks, Olivia.
Alrighty.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
So today, as Aaron mentioned, going to start with giving you kind of a high level on Wish, who we are, what we've been working on, what we've built through our marketplace, and then shift into how we're working with Listing Mirror. And so a purpose of this is for you as a seller to help you unlock your global e-commerce potential through Wish. We can move to the next slide. Thank you. So just as background, we are a US-based company and one of the leading mobile commerce platforms, both in the US and Europe, with a mission to bring an affordable and entertaining mobile shopping experience to billions of consumers globally. And we do that all through our app, the Wish app, that you can download both on iOS and Android. And our goal ultimately is to connect value-conscious shoppers with affordable goods globally. I'll get into some of the numbers in the subsequent slides to show you kind of size and scale. But something that's interesting is historically, we're one of the most and best reviewed apps in the App Store. So you can see, millions and millions of reviews and ratings, kind of punching above our weight. And I think this is just a sign of consumer trust and kind of consumer engagement. As a seller on Wish, when you join us, you join a community of hundreds of thousands of merchants worldwide. So we have over 500,000 registered merchants that are using the Wish Marketplace platform to upload their products. About 1.8 million items are sold daily out of over 150 million listings or items available to our consumer base. And these are sellers from 100+ countries and selling globally. So the next couple of slides will kind of show size and scale, but our users, the darker color is kind of the higher user density, are predominantly in the United States and Europe, but we do have a good concentration of shoppers in Brazil, Latin America, parts of Asia and Australia as well. Double clicking into the customer that is shopping on Wish, mainly shoppers are getting into Wish through Android. And again, most sales overwhelmingly happen through the mobile app. We've also seen through our user base and kind of research studies, we have slightly more female shoppers than male. and the demographic tends to skew a little bit younger, sub 30. I think the other thing to point out here is kind of at the lower right-hand part of the screen. It's a very engaging customer experience, and I'll touch on this in the subsequent slides. But I encourage you as a seller to get into the Wish app as a consumer as well, and see the experience for yourself. The kind of endless scroll of products that happen, the personalization that happens as you start clicking through products, and just kind of the fun and entertaining aspect of shopping on Wish. And I'll show how we do that, and why we're unique in the way we do it in the next few slides. So as I mentioned, Wish is very much mobile first. We've been around for close to a decade, and we've always been mobile app first. So while a lot of consumers on other platforms are searching for products, on Wish, over 70% of our transactions happen without a search query. It's discovery based. So as I alluded to earlier, you log into the app and you'll see a personalized feed almost immediately. And algorithmically, we're able to kind of match the right products to the right customer. And what's interesting is it becomes kind of this fun and engaging experience, which gets the consumer back in shopping again and again. And so we're excited to get your products on board. The thing as a seller to think about here is really how are you going to showcase your listings in a mobile environment? And we do some of the heavy lifting for you. And so how we do that, our app is able to kind of crunch the customer and product data to customize and personalize each user's feed on an ongoing basis. So, as these images depict from left to right, the customer sees an initial feed. They start clicking on products, maybe purchasing products, adding, bookmarking, or we have a wish list feature. As they engage with the product, their feed becomes more and more personalized, and ultimately we continue to learn about them and present the right products forward. So it's very unique in how we personalize to each customer. Next, how we reach the customers. So you may have seen us in your social feed. You may have seen us on Lakers jersey. You may have seen some of our entertaining commercials or kind of marketing creative. One thing that we're really, really good at is we're digital marketing experts. In some ways, we're very much a demand-driven firm. We're great at acquiring users at scale and engaging them ultimately to purchase your products. And so the way that we do that is we have very sophisticated tech running in the background to showcase your products to Facebook, Google, TikTok, and through our own social channels as well. And then through the app and the different levels of kind of gamification that we have, we're able to retain these users and reward them through their shopping experience as they kind of go down the purchase funnel. And then, through the different creative marketing that we do, they're kind of reminded and able to come back to Wish. I think one main call out here is as you load up your products on Wish, we're able to showcase them in unique ways across the web, not just through the Wish app. And then the last item that I'll mention is our global reach. So I talked about, we have sellers in 100+ countries. We also have 90 million+ monthly active users globally. Overwhelming majority of them are in the US and Europe, but with kind of a couple of clicks, once you start uploading your products through Listing Mirror onto onto Wish, you're able to have global reach to our customer base. I will touch on a couple of more kind of tips and tricks through the next few slides. So there's a few ways to grow on Wish as you kind of think through product selection. First is what products to select. So historically, we've seen fashion accessories, home decor or home goods, and consumer electronics be the top shopping categories. We're definitely seeing an uptick, probably similar to a lot of other e-commerce platforms, and due to the pandemic, to kind of the do-it-yourself DIY and kind of hobbies category. But this should give you a little bit of guidance on the top selling products on Wish. I think one thing to note is we can sell almost any category, and we're constantly adding capabilities and features. A recent example is we've been able to sell consumer packaged goods, CPG items on Wish. On the next slide, want to showcase that we have brands on Wish. Historically, our shopper is shopping for unbranded goods and potentially lower ticket items, but we've seen an increasing trend as consumers trust Wish and kind of get back into the app. They're understanding that we actually have officially branded products. And so merchants can be certified, similar to other platforms, to get their products listed, get their kind of well-known brands listed on Wish. And there's just a handful that are already selling. A couple of tips and tricks that I'll point to, and different ways that you can use Wish. So usually, and there's actually 7 tips, not 8. My apologies. We definitely recommend uploading your full catalog, at minimum 100, to kind of get picked up into the impressions jet stream from our algorithms. We definitely recommend clear images and descriptions. Again, think mobile first. So high resolution imagery, keeping the product descriptions concise. If you're uploading branded products, please use our branded products flow to tag the products. Over time, definitely recommend scaling up and capturing as many product reviews to show the quality of your products and consumer trust. We recommend a couple of other features that you should use. You can go global again, and allow for international shipping and tap into our vast base of international buyers. And then you can leverage our product boost, which is our native ad unit, to boost your sales, as well as potentially use Wish Express, which is our SLA that enables shoppers to receive their items in 5 to 7 days. And the next couple of slides will just kind of touch on those latter 2 points really quickly. So first, product boost. It's a way to drive more impressions and faster sales by ranking your products higher in our customer feeds. So you can assign a budget, and we'll kind of take it from there. And we've seen great results. We've seen some sellers, I think, get upwards of 60% increase in impressions after implementing Product Boost. Our product teams are hard at work in expanding Product Boost. So we have different kind of boost programs now to boost branded items, for example, to boost collections of products. So there's a lot to tap into when you get started on Wish, especially through the native ad campaigns that we can run. And then the last thing I'll highlight out, or the last 2 things I'll point out, is Wish Express. So it's another program, and it's a way where the consumer can trust that they're going to receive the item from you in a guaranteed delivery of 5 business days. Within the app, it's the little orange truck icon. And as a part of this, we give a lot more exposure, 3 times more exposure to these products within the feed. And you'll see through that screenshot, there's a whole separate feed for Wish Express items as well. And we're seeing this continue to grow as a program. And this is driven through a program at Wish, FBW Fulfilled by Wish. You can stock your products in our warehouses and have them be eligible to be Wish Express items automatically, or if you can meet the SLA, your products can be enrolled into the Wish Express program as well. So in conclusion, hopefully you've learned a number of things about Wish. I tend to run a little fast here, so I'm happy to answer questions both through this webinar and offline through our teams. But what I wanted to offer in conjunction with the Listing Mirror team is folks that are on the webinar and coming through Listing Mirror. Our plan is to give you reduced commission. Usually we have a 15% take rate. So first 3 months, and usually we can go longer, but especially right in time for the holiday season, we'd like to give you a lower take rate. Usually that's around 5%. We will also be algorithmically boosting your products to get you started. Outside of the product boost spend that you'll be doing. Sometimes we give ad credits as well. And then we'll also be injecting our products across the various marketing opportunities and exposure that we provide. So that could be, for example, that you can see a banner in this screenshot through different sections of the app. Will be driving more impressions, and it can also be off the app through our social media channels, through a ton of work that we're doing with influencers. And then given we're working with a great partner like Listing Mirror, we're happy to support you from our end as well. So we have team members that can help, especially for the larger sellers, and getting kind of acclimated and getting started on Wish. So thank you very much for listening to my comments on Wish, and happy to answer some questions after Aaron and Olivia discuss the integration and how to get started.
Awesome. That was such great information and so exciting tonight to hear about your specific partnership with Listing Mirror in terms of offering some lower fees and some other great perks for our sellers. So I know that we'll have a lot of people take advantage of that, and we will make sure that that gets out to our audience as well. So thanks so much. I would love just to take a few minutes just to go into Listing Mirror's integration with Wish, specifically because there are things that Tanai talked about today that I want to be really clear for our sellers and for maybe even people who are just looking at Listing Mirror to understand about the integration, so that you know how it works, and so that when you start setting up your Wish integration, everything makes sense with what Tanai talked about today. So the first thing that we'll talk about is just adding the channel integration. So if you've been with Listing Mirror, you might already know how this process works. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to add the integration through our portal, and that will take you to the Wish for Merchants account. That is where you'll add your information about your Wish account. So this video will continue running. Hopefully it helps you kind of get an idea of where you'll go inside of Listing Mirror. If you are not signed up to sell on Wish yet, we can also help you out with that. What you'll do is under that integrations tab, when you click on channel integrations and then you go down to the Wish logo, we'll see it in just a minute here, you'll see the option there to register here. So you can just click on that link and that will take you to a page to register. And that will also let Wish know that Listing Mirror has sent you over. So that's also a good way of indicating to them that you are someone who we've referred to their business as well. So that's a great thing to be able to do if you're not already signed up with Wish. So from here, we are going to talk about how to create a listing. So again, if you're already using Listing Mirror, maybe this is something that's familiar to you, but if not, I just really would love you to see the ease of creating a wish listing through Listing Mirror. It is essentially just one click of a button. So you're on your managed listings page, you already have all your content because you have a whole bunch of listings that you're already selling on other marketplaces. In the Wish column, you can see the little Wish logo. All you're going to do is push that little plus sign, and then you're going to see a message at the top that says listing was successfully created. Now understand, when you've created a listing, essentially what we are saying is this listing is now kind of in draft form inside of Listing Mirror. So if you look at the next slide, then we will see what the listing looks like inside of Listing Mirror. And this is where you might want to update things, and it's possible that everything is fine and that nothing needs to be updated. But if you do need to update anything, say you want to change the content a little bit, because as Tanai mentioned, a lot of it is app-based. So you want it to be something that is palatable for an app user. So for instance, maybe you want your description to look a little bit different. Maybe you want your title to be a little bit shorter. Maybe you just want to appeal to a younger audience, since that's something that Tanai mentioned as well. In addition to the listing content, you will also be able to change your images. So one really great thing about using Listing Mirror is Tanai mentioned earlier that you do want to make sure that you have really crisp, good file size on your images, for instance, and just making sure that your listing data is really both clean and relevant, and going to appeal to the kind of buyer that is on Wish. And that is something that Listing Mirror provides to you just through using our interface, because we know that you already have good imagery. We already have your excellent product names that you've used on other channels. We have all this data in here already. So just by clicking that button, you are, excuse me, you are giving us permission to then create that listing on the Wish platform for you. So once that listing is created inside of Listing Mirror, then you will see this listing on Wish, and that is essentially all there is to it. So, maybe you update a couple things in Listing Mirror, maybe you don't, but then you're going to see the listing inside of Wish. So I believe what we're looking at here probably is the like the web app platform, not necessarily in a phone app, but the information is all here. And really what I want you to see here is just the ease of listing creation, how simple it is for you to be able to take the data that you've used multiple other times for other channels and create that listing through Listing Mirror and have it launched on Wish so that you can start selling more quickly, which we know is exactly what you want. So if we want to go to the next slide, I just want to talk about some of the differences or some of the unique things about Wish within the Listing Mirror platform. So again, this is something that may pertain more to our current sellers, but also hopefully will be helpful for new sellers who are just coming to Listing Mirror as well. So one thing that's different about the Wish integration is that the variation types that you can fill out for Wish are restricted to color and size. So that means if you are creating a listing from, say from an eBay listing, and you have maybe like chain length and material or something like that, what you're going to want to do is change those to fit in with color and size variation details. So there might be a little bit of work that goes into that, and it's just a good thing to know ahead of time that that is what you're going to be required to do, so that any work that you do to your listings, that you know that until you have those updated to fit color and size specifications, that it may look a little bit funky on the Wish end, so just make sure that you update those details. Also, tonight I talked about a couple different like promotional options and then also product boosts, and he mentioned, I think, Wish Express. Let me just grab the name so I'm not saying the wrong thing here. Yeah, Wish Express. So those type of things are going to be directly done in Wish, not inside of Listing Mirror. So we are providing the structure for you to be able to create your listings and also to be able to maintain your inventory and also to send your orders to whatever fulfillment center you have set up. But some of the more promotional type stuff is going to be done directly in Wish, including the product boost and Wish Express that Tanai talked about. So those things are things that you will work on directly with the Wish team inside of their platform, and then Listing Mirror will be responsible still for the inventory, the listing, and the order management portion. Another thing that Tanai talked about was the way that brands work and how they have access to a lot of big brands, and we want you to take advantage of that as well. One thing to keep in mind is that brands must be approved by Wish in order for the listing to go live. So for instance, if you're a seller who sells your own brand of products, you will need to get that approved by Wish to have it added to their list of approved brands. Anything that has been approved by Wish already is something that we can access. And so you essentially will just use a drop down and or search function to be able to find the brand that you are selling under when you create your listing, if it's not something that is apparent to us when we create the listing where we would automatically populate it for you. So hopefully that process is fairly simple, but just so you know, if you see an error on your listing that says something about, brand recognition or whatever, it could just be that you need to get approval for that brand to sell on Wish. And if you're not sure, if you're not sure about the error message that you're seeing, of course, get in touch with us and let us know what you're experiencing so that we can give you a hand, and also so that we can understand Wish better as well, because Wish is new to our team too. And so we're having fun learning the different ins and outs of how Wish works specifically, and specifically how the Listing Mirror version of Wish works. But we're really excited at how many of our sellers are already doing quite well on Wish, and how many people have been able to sign up and get started with Wish already. So we're thrilled to have this partnership with Wish. I think that might be the end of my slides. Yes. So it looks like we have a decent number of questions. Olivia, would it work for you to feed questions to us, and then we can just decide how to answer them based on how they come in?
Yeah, for sure. It looks like most of the questions we got are for Wish.
Okay, awesome.
So we'll start with an easy one here first. Someone is asking, where is Wish based out of? Is there a USA based office?
Sure. That is a great question, and one I like answering. We are a US founded company, so based in the United States and have global offices. Our headquarters in San Francisco. We have office in Toronto as well, and an office in Europe, and then office in Shanghai and a couple other places. But yes, founded and based in the US.
Awesome. So we have a question here. Somebody is selling in the musical instrument category, and they're wondering if they saw the category for electronics on the one slide. I can go back to that one. And they're wondering, would musical instruments fall under that category, or how do you know how well that kind of product does on Wish?
Sure. So a couple of things, depending on the type of instrument. I believe products can get tagged into multiple categories. So for example, if it's, let's say it's an electronic instrument, it could fall under, we could have it fall into the consumer electronics. I think also instruments could potentially roll into the hobby category. And we're always open to getting kind of feedback from merchants and partners on if we need to expand our taxonomy and the categories that we have. I don't know offhand on the kind of selection for instruments on Wish right now, but that's also a good thing. If we're not selling too many musical instruments, as an example, that's potential greenfield territory for you as a merchant to capture. So we're always looking to diversify the type of inventory in the catalog that we have.
Yeah, that's good to know. I mean, if it's not a product that is super popular there, it's probably worth getting your products out there, so you're kind of one of the first to sell in that category. A question that I had that came up when you were talking about Wish Express, you mentioned that Wish has warehouses that they can use, and it sounded like they can send their products to that warehouse and then Wish will send them out. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Sure. Um, so uh, the program you're referring to is Fulfilled by Wish, FBW for short. And that's a program that we've created to enable sellers to have inventory in the US and Europe that when they store the when they send over and store the inventory with us and it's managed through our logistics, those products automatically qualify for the Wish Express impressions and kind of the boost that comes from there. We've made some changes on the FBW side, but we're working with a partner, and our warehouses are located in Ohio and as well as the East Coast. And we do have a warehouse out in Amsterdam as well. One thing I should point out is we do have a fairly robust FAQ section when you're a merchant on Wish that has kind of step-by-step instructions for example, signing up for Wish Express or understanding a little bit more about Product Boost and basically almost everything that we've kind of touched on. And when you sign up as a seller, meaning having a seller account within the merchant platform, it'll also the user interface will also kind of walk you through step by step enrolling products into Wish Express, either through our logistics or through your own.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I hadn't heard about Wish warehouses before, so I was interested in that. Alrighty, looking here, and if you guys see questions that you want to answer too, feel free to jump in.
I can't actually see the questions, but feel free to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so feel free to send. I mean, keep going with whichever one.
No problem. Alrighty, so I have another question here, and they're wondering how competitive US sellers are in the global market on Wish. I don't know if that's
Sure.
something you can dive into.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question right now. So, Wish, again, based in the US and historically has had our supply come, and this for everyone's context, has had our supply come out of Asia. And typically it's been unbranded goods. But on the demand side, our shoppers are here in the US as well as Europe predominantly. And so a strategic initiative at the company is to diversify and expand our inventory, our supply in conjunction with what we're already getting out of Asia. And so what that means is we are, as an organization, highly incentivized to bring in US sellers and then showcase them predominantly throughout the app in kind of unique ways. I know in the past, for example, we had flags for kind of country of origin on the product tiles within the app. So the product team is working on various features to allow these US sellers and US inventory to be showcased prominently within the app. The other thing is like pathways like the brand tagging, the different collections that we create, and some of the other features allow these US sellers to compete more effectively against other sellers.
Okay, gotcha. That's very helpful to know. I know that we get a lot of questions about if it's worth it for U.S. sellers to sell on Wish. So I think that definitely answers that question. We're getting a lot of questions here, not a lot, but a few questions about like charges and fees for Wish. It seems like it's a pretty big question to ask. It probably depends on quite a few things. Is there somewhere that they can go to get that kind of information as far as what kind of fees they're looking at?
Sure. So I think let me unpack that question. I think there's probably a couple of things to consider. One is Wish as a platform, the marketplace take rate, right? Historically, that's 15%. But again, for folks on this webinar and coming in through Listing Mirror, we're going to offer a reduced take rate. Let's say 5% over the next 3 months. And again, we're generally pretty flexible here because our goal, tied to the previous question, is how do we expand our base of domestic sellers and kind of interesting inventory, like the person who posed the musical instruments question. So we do have a marketplace take rate. That's the only fee. On top of that, if you want to put your products in Wish Express, that's going to be relatively standard 3PL fees, which are explained in the FAQs and through that process. And then if you're going to do product boost, you would be allocating a budget, and then we'd be able to spend that budget within the app. The only other thing I'll point out is from time to time there are as we're a marketplace, we're trying to incentivize good behavior from merchants and also flag or weed out kind of bad actors or bad or fraudulent behavior. And so historically, we have had penalties or fees for those bad actors. I don't think that's really a concern for US-based and Europe-based sellers, and we do certain things to kind of protect those sellers. But as you all probably know better than me, there's a certain amount of gaming that can happen in other other parts of the world, and so we need to put some marketplace boundaries through these penalty structures in place.
And I
Sure,
also
one thing.
shared. Oh, go ahead, Erin.
Go ahead, Olivia. Oh,
I
okay.
just was going to say I shared this what Tanai had talked about before about what Wish is offering you guys, so you guys can take a look at that too. But go ahead, Erin.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that I think is really worth considering too is how much value there is in the ads that our sellers can get access to just by using Wish. So I think that that's also another consideration, especially for sellers that sell their own line of products, just to know that their products could be featured on different social media platforms and different ad spaces like that. I think is also another value add that is, a little bit harder to put a number on, but also is definitely incentive for using a platform like Wish.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Erin, thank you for noting that. I'll just add to that, like our programs like Product Boost and the associated kind of boost options within our native ad units. That's one way to advertise within Wish, within the app, but we're doing a ton, as Erin alluded to, externally. So we're injecting your products into our own ad spend. And so you're, as a seller, effectively piggybacking on our spend, and we're showcasing your products through very prominent feeds. We have a pretty good social following, so some of the organic stuff that we're doing, but also the paid social and paid ad channels that we're leveraging through our partnerships with Facebook, Google, TikTok, etc. We're really, really good at getting these ads in front of the right consumers. We've, in some ways, kind of shown Facebook like different things that they can do with their ads, just like anecdotally. And so you're able to tap into that. The other thing that's kind of new is we're doing a lot with influencers as well, as far as creating content, seeding products into that content. There's a number of videos on TikTok, just as an example of some of the work that we're doing. So we anticipate that being kind of a larger channel where we can get fairly creative as opposed to kind of a static ad.
Awesome. So I know that we're kind of coming to the end of our time here. I'm super excited about Wish. It seems like something, if I was a seller, I would definitely be getting set up there. Can you guys, I don't know who wants to take this one, but can you guys talk a little bit about how to get a Wish account? Is there some sort of approval process that Wish goes through? Kind of the getting started part, if people are interested and haven't signed up for Wish yet.
Sure. At a high level, we should have a link shared between Wish and Listing Mirror that allows you to get started, and then that'll ping us on the Wish side that a Listing Mirror seller is signing up, and we can also see as you kind of integrate. So we're
Because I'll
looking
add
out.
that to the chat as well, so that you guys can grab it from here if that makes it easier for you.
Yep. And I know Listing Mirror, for example, has a great landing page as well that we can leverage. I think that's the link we're referring to. And then
Yep.
from a approval standpoint, we're doing a couple of things on the back end to kind of expedite store and listing approvals. And if there's ever an issue, feel free to reach out to the Listing Mirror team, and they can expeditiously kind of get in touch with us, especially given we're approaching holiday territory. So getting your products up quickly in anticipation of Black Friday and or the holiday sales would be in your best interest to tap into all the promotions we'll be doing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Right now is definitely the time to get set up for the holiday season. So if you guys, Aaron's gonna add that link to the chat. So if you haven't signed up for Wish, you can do it there. And then you can reach out to Aaron or I or our support team and just tell them, hey, I signed up for Wish, and we can help you get that process expedited on our end. We're working closely with the Wish team. So we should be able to get you guys approved pretty quickly. But I think that kind of is the end of the questions. I know I wasn't able to get to everything. I don't know, Aaron, if you see any other questions in there you want to make sure we get to.
Yeah, I do have one more question, just because I've gotten several questions about it. Are there any negotiations on the number of payout days? Because I know I've gotten a few questions about, it feels like a long time to wait for Wish's payout schedule. And so some of our sellers are a little bit concerned about that. Is there room there to negotiate?
Historically, there isn't, since a lot of this kind of systematized. I can kind of take that back to the team and see
Sure.
if we even have a way for exceptions, but it's definitely good feedback. I do want to highlight one other thing that, in reflecting on these great questions, that's kind of coming up. We didn't put it into the slides, but it's related to us being a US company and kind of making sure US sellers are competitive. We've over the summer spent some time looking at the marketplace as far as the thousands, hundreds of thousands of sellers, and we're essentially working on a way to score and kind of tier our sellers to better understand kind of best-in-class merchants versus potentially bad actors. That scoring will allow us to drive more impressions to the best-in-class merchants. A great proxy for those merchants is by coming through great partners like Listing Mirror. So we're working out kind of how this scoring will work, how it ties to these partnerships that we have. But what it will allow is for us to boost impressions for merchants coming through relationships like this, and for merchants that are based here in the U.S. and selling U.S. based inventory, almost like a quality mechanism for us to protect both consumers and support our domestic merchants.
It's great information. Thanks so much for sharing that with us.
Yep.
Alrighty, I think that is all that we have. Let me see here, any more slides. I think it's just our closing information for you guys. So this is just kind of talking through your resources here at Listing Mirror. So I know we talked about how to get onboarded with Wish. I am a great resource for getting started with Wish, so you guys can reach out directly to me. My email address is olivia@listingmirror.com. So even if you did send in a question that we weren't able to answer in this call, feel free to send me an email. I'd be happy to answer any more questions that you guys have about Wish and help you guys get set up there. Along with that, just general Listing Mirror help. I do offer topical training that we can do for your team, as well as like account audits and wellness checks. Anything that you guys need for your account, feel free to reach out to me. I will be your resource for that. On top of that, we have our support team, which I'm sure all of you guys have worked with them. They're great. And you can reach out to them through our support portal. So in your Listing Mirror account, in the bottom right-hand corner, you should see a quick help icon in your account. Click on that. That'll take you to our knowledge base, where our support team is adding articles every day too. So you can search for articles there. Lots of FAQs, everything that you guys need for your account will be there. And then also you can reach out to our support team. So there's an option to create a request there and open a ticket with our support team. So those are the resources that we have. And I think that is all that we have for you guys. Thank you so much tonight for joining us on this webinar and talking about Wish. That was super helpful for me, and I'm sure a lot of our sellers were excited to join us. I know we did get a couple questions about if this webinar is recorded, which it is. We'll be sending that out to all of you guys. Probably Friday or Monday, we'll get that sent out to everybody. So you'll have the recording if you want to look back at it. And again, if you guys have any questions, please reach out. But again, thank you, Denai, for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you, Listing Mirror team, Olivia and Aaron, and thank you to all the sellers that joined today's webinar. Appreciate the time and looking forward to having you be part of the Wish ecosystem through Listing Mirror. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you everybody for joining. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to helping you guys get started on Wish. Bye.